from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Alert.
All right, and I think you all should be able to hear me at this point. Good afternoon. I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you in the JB Weather Center this evening, saying just before 6 o'clock, and we are tracking quite a wide array of weather across the Mid-Atlantic this evening. So I currently have up radar for you here, and you can see that really, and if I were to extend this out really just even like, let's go like a full hour, you can see how these storms have really just kind of blossomed here over the last hour or so as our entire wave of energy we've been tracking all day looks to be moving to the east. So we currently, let's get radar here to a current pause. They are really much kind of lining up from about I-83 from the Maryland-Pennsylvania line down through Baltimore, headed down 95, going down 301, headed down into southern Maryland in the northern neck. And we have a wide variety of warnings. I want to start up north and work our way south. Kind of the most emergent warning right now is an actual, we do have a tornado warning currently in effect here for Baltimore City until 6:15. It's this pink polygon, and it really is for downtown Baltimore there in the Inner Harbor. This remains in effect till about 6:15. At 5:53, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over downtown Baltimore and moving east at 35 miles per hour. This is just radar indicated rotation. However, for those in the direct path of a potential tornado touchdown, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Damage to roofs, siding, and windows is likely to occur, and mobile homes may be damaged or destroyed. So we're going to keep that in mind here. Downtown Baltimore under an active tornado warning. Taking a bigger, we zoom out a little bit. Northern Maryland, just about all of Northern Maryland is under a severe thunderstorm warning here till about 6:45. That's at yellow polygon. And this is actually kind of a step up. We have a typical severe thunderstorm warning that would denote that we have winds potentially getting up towards about 60 miles per hour. These storms producing winds up to 70. This orange polygon would denote winds potentially upwards of 80 miles per hour. And currently where I live up here in the Harrisburg region, a storm just popped up over my apartment. So you might be able to hear a little bit of rain and hail. But yeah, Northern Maryland quite active this afternoon and evening where we have a variety of different types of warnings, very severe storms, by and large 60 to 75 mile per hour winds are possible. Moving further south from about Annapolis Point south, we have additional storms. We have one storm that's moved through the Clinton region. It is just about over to 301, and what I want to make sure I have together here, and you can tell it's been a bit, and we're just not getting into severe storm season because I'm trying to make sure that our systems are good to go. I want to make sure our roads are loaded here. So that really helps, I think, a lot of people figure out and really differentiate where we are. So here we are, 301 from about Upper Marlboro down to about Brandywine. Severe thunderstorm warning as this storm pushes towards Mitchellville, Upper Marlboro, eventually another round of storms for Anne Arundel County. You just had some pretty gnarly ones move through. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6 o'clock. I would have to imagine that's going to get extended, or it looks like about 6:30 or so. Considerable threat damage here for winds up to 70 miles per hour. So that is one to note. And then further to the south, this is a brand new update here with this severe thunderstorm warning. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for much of Calvert County, and I will want to just read this for you straight from the National Weather Service. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 6:30 p.m. for St. Mary's County, just about all of Calvert County, and Charles County. And it looks like we are actually getting a new warning in. We have a brand new tornado warning coming in. Let's go ahead and move further up to the north. This is going to be for southern Baltimore County. We will get back to the southern Maryland severe thunderstorm warning in just a moment, just to update viewers in this part of our coverage zone. We are talking southern parts of Baltimore County, parts of the city of Baltimore, but headed down towards Dundalk, Edgemere. This is an active tornado warning. We are still looking at let's see. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. I want the tornado warning. Tornado warning, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Dundalk, and that is headed eastward. So go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions. I know somewhere in here I should have our tornado safety. There we go. This is a bit of an old graphic. Do we have the other there? There we go. Both kind of work here. Tornado safety precautions here for you for the Baltimore area for right now. Move indoors, move to the lowest level of your home, and you will want to shield yourself from potential flying debris with a potential tornado touchdown. Headed back down south, though, we do have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for much of southern Maryland. Again, that is just about, well, it is all of St. Mary's County, just about all of Calvert County, southern PG County, and parts of eastern Charles County. We get more and more warnings continuing to come in this evening. At 5:57, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near La Plata southward towards St. Clements Bay to near Coles Point, and these are moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. The hazard here, 70-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Damaging winds will cause some trees and large branches to fall. These could injure those caught outdoors as well as damage to homes and vehicles. Roadways may become blocked or downed thanks to trees. Localized power outages are possible, and it looks like we're getting lots of reports of power outages just now. Locations impacted include but are not limited to. So if you're any of these town names that are potentially near you, you're under this warning, I would be, and I will actually give you right now those, not tornado safety, but severe thunderstorm precautions. So we're talking Baden, Charlotte Hall, Abel, Valley Lee, St. Inigo's Creek, Sandgates, Souderley, Bryantown, the Chesapeake Ranch Estates, Patuxent River Naval Air Station, St. Charles, Eagle Harbor, Great Mills, Lexington Park, St. Mary City, Park Hall, Loveville, Oakley, Greenville State Park, and Barstow. So for your protection, we're going to treat this very much kind of like, a high-end severe storm. We're going to be moving indoors. We have 70-mile-per-hour winds indicated with this storm. That tells me we have lots of wind energy with this system. So we're going to go ahead and move indoors and move away from those windows. It's almost kind of like a tornadic situation, but we don't have indications of a tornado. We just have 70 to 80-mile-per-hour winds. And these high winds, even if it's not a tornado, they're just straight line winds, it's potentially going to pick up any loose branches, any potential lawnware that's outside, any of that sort of stuff, pick it up and just launch it potentially. And you want to shield yourself from potential falling trees and hail. So those are your severe storm safety protocols. I want to bring you back on over here, and there goes some lightning. If we can zoom out quick, you can see this entire line that is really stretching from the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania region. Like, very rarely is the weather that Southern Maryland's seeing the same weather I'm seeing up here in the Harrisburg area here in PA, but you can see it just kind of lines. Here's your 83 corridor headed southbound towards Baltimore. It goes right on down into the Glen Burnie area, Annapolis, down Route 4, right? Headed down towards Huntingtown, getting into Lesby, Lexington Park. So we have a very active evening ongoing. We should be able to push these out here by about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And then that sets us up for the most part a quiet evening. We may see some additional rumbles of thunder going into sunrise tomorrow morning before another quiet period. We're just kind of in an active 36 to 48 hours where we see these storm complexes moving through and moving through and moving through. What I do want to get a quick look at is to check what our outages are looking like in the SMECO coverage zone. Not reporting many at the moment. I mean, if I show you what I'm looking at here, we can get rid of the winter weather ticker because that's clearly not a thing right now. Currently only reporting about 108 customers out, but given all of the insights that have been coming in and have been getting reported, I would suspect that number to probably jump pretty significantly here in the next update. That should be in about 5 to 10 minutes. So, and that's kind of to be expected here with such a wide array of severe thunderstorms that are quite strong. We have severe thunderstorm watches in blue. They kind of go from I-95 on out to the east, all the way to the ocean. These go until 10 o'clock. Again, Southern Maryland, this is kind of go time now. They're about 7 o'clock. For those of you just now joining in wanting to get the latest information, I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you in the JB Weather Center, keeping you updated. We can see we have a wide variety of severe thunderstorms, lots of lightning. We're talking over 1,800 strikes of lightning across the state right now. And as we zoom in here to our local area, let's take a look further north first. Bowie, Mitchellville, Upper Marlboro, Lothian, currently under the gun, as well as Annapolis, heading down towards Tracy's Landing and Dunkirk. Really following 382, following 4 south, Lower Marlboro. Quasco, Hughesville, Prince Frederick, you're getting in on some nasty storms right now, as is Sandgates and Oakville, Morganza. This stretch of 235 really getting in on some of the worst right now. I want to see if I can't just pull up one of our live stream cameras from this portion of the world. 235 maybe, but we could just see, I mean, as I look to pull these out and pull these up, we can see that it's really kind of through St. Mary's County right now. You are seeing kind of the brunt of this weather right now moving here into southern parts of Calvert County, and it's gonna, I think, continue to show you a decent bit of activity. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look to see what we can get here. Now, here we go. If we take a look at the St. Andrew's Church Road, this is a pretty good look here for you. Let me bring you on up. This is going to be 235 at 4 south, and you could just see the torrential downpour here. Traffic still moving at a pretty decent clip, but that's not to say that along 3 Notch Road, you're not seeing high impacts from this. At our intersection here, you can even see some of those trees moving around thanks to the potentially 45, 50, 60, maybe even up to 70 mile an hour wind gusts with this. I want to see what else we can get. Let's take a look at 4 at 3 Notch Road. This is another look, kind of that same vantage point here. You can see the shields of rain. You can see the trees moving there. I'm not sure that traffic is necessarily backed up, aside from normal congestion here along 235 3 Notch Road. Let's see, those are probably going to be some of our best vantage points. You can see what we got going on. I think we actually just played. Let's see what the Thomas Johnson Bridge has to show. And yeah, same ordeal here. You can see those bridge, and this is on the St. Mary side looking out towards Solomon's Island, really just showing that heavy rain that's moving here into the region right now. And as we take a look at radar, you can really get a nice feel for what's going on. So let's go ahead and zoom out. We are also still tracking, I don't want to forget about our northern followers here. We do still have active tornado warnings in the Baltimore City metro area. We just got a new update with the one here near Dundalk and Essex. The tornado warning continues and remains in effect till 6:30 for southeastern Baltimore County. At 6:07 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line. 6:07, severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado were located over Back River, moving east at 35 miles per hour. North Point State Park, Miller's Island, and Essex are areas to be on the lookout here up to the north. We're really looking at kind of the core of our northern batch of weather moving. It's almost literally paralleling the Prince George's and Anne Arundel County lines from Bowie to Mitchellville. As we come in here, I mean, Crofton, you're getting on some pretty nasty weather. This is getting here into the Edgewater area. Harwood, Lothian, Bristol, Tracy's Landing, Friendship, Dunkirk, you all are getting some pretty nasty weather here. These pinks here would indicate that we are looking at some pretty heavy rainfall. I want to see if we can't just get loaded up here for you. Our estimated hail size, will you work for me? I feel like I might not. I'm not sure we're gonna get that loaded here, unfortunately. That sucks. I can show you though. I do want to get you some base velocity here to get just an idea of what we're looking at in terms of winds. This is an important tool we like to look at. You can see, so where we have these brightest yellows here in the Harwood area in Lothian, these are denoting winds. Look at that, 75 to 80 miles per hour here in the Harwood area. That is 80 mile an hour winds. Harwood, you are under the brunt right now. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you, but if you are in Shelby on the Bay, Mayo, Shadyside, Churchton, even Tracy's Landing, Davidsonville, I'd include you, maybe even Highland Beach eventually. You have this core here, that yellow core of 80 mile per hour winds. That's going to be blasting through here. Let's call it about the next 15 minutes or so. As we move further north, we can see where we have strong winds up here towards Severna Park, getting into Edgemere, and headed down to the south. We have some pretty significant winds here, again, getting towards about 60 miles per hour here, down towards California, Sandgates, and St. Leonard. These are all going to be things we watch. The latest radar scan shows, yep, we got those 61-mile-per-hour winds estimated here towards the Chesapeake Ranch Estates. Moving north, we are looking at winds potentially gusting upwards of about 65 miles per hour. Those just moved through Dunkirk. Owings, you're under the gun right now, moving into the beaches, just off the Friendship. That core of 80-mile-an-hour winds we were just watching, there you go, over Shadyside, over Mayo, continuing here to move to the east. 76-mile-per-hour winds here, getting towards Churchton. Shadyside, our whole back bay up in here, we are looking at 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts with this storm as it continues to move here to the east. So we definitely, we are looking at a lot going on in a very short amount of time. Now, if we were to zoom out, thankfully, let's go ahead and turn you off. It's a bit much to be looking at the current moment. As we zoom out, behind this, we got very little going on. If you're in western Charles County, on out towards Nanjemoyne and Pitska and La Plata, you're like, we made it through. It's okay. So these are moving at a decently good clip. And it looks like we might just have a new update here coming out of our severe thunderstorm warning. Yep, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect till 6:30 for St. Mary's, Calvert, southeastern Prince George's, and parts of eastern Charles County. At 6:10 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from near Dunkirk to near Greenwell State Park to Piney Point, and these moving east at 50 miles per hour. Continuing to monitor that potential for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. That's about an inch in diameter. That can do a little bit of damage for you. Damaging winds, and I want to get you as I read through this, those severe storm safety protocols. Damaging winds will cause some trees and large branches to fall. This could injure those outdoors as well as damage homes and vehicles. Roadways may become blocked by downed trees. Localized power outages are possible. Unsecured light objects may become projectiles. Locations impacted include but are not limited to Baden, Valley Lee, St. Inigo's Creek, Sandgates, Solderly, the Chesapeake Ranch Estates, Pax River, Eagle Harbor, Great Mills, Lexington Park, St. Mary's City, Park Hall, Loveville, Greenwell State Park, Barstow, Howling Point, St. Leonard Creek, Lesby, Aquazo, and Dow. So for your protection, you want to move into an interior room or the lowest floor of a building. The thunderstorm damage threat level here is considerable, with 70-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail looking possible. Now, I do know that we have some followers here on the Eastern Shore just now coming in here to the Weather Center, and I want to see, why is this still here? I guess that expires here soon. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for the mid-shore. This is really looking like Trapp on up towards Easton, Denton, Greensboro, Centerville. So it's kind of, you cross that the Bay Bridge there, and then let's say imagine you're heading onto the beach, you're going to follow 50, 301 down. We have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning here that has that highest possible threat level of destructive. This is where 80-mile-per-hour winds could be possible. This orange polygon. It'll be a little difficult to see, but it's definitely kind of that mid-shore region there for you. As all of these storms here continue to move to the east, there's just so much lightning here moving in through the core part of our coverage zone. Want to take a look, and we just got our new power outage numbers coming in here. We just jumped from about 100 active outages to 6,100 active outages. I want to take a look at this by zip code. Do we not have the ability to now shade this by zip code? Maybe? View by location? View by zip code. I like it. Here we go. Up north, it's really the Mechanicsville area. This is the area that is currently under the highest impact, over 2,000 customers, up around 3,100 without power right now in the 20659 area. Mechanicsville up north, getting into Chaptico, Charlotte Hall, Golden Beach, Oakville, Helen, Morganza there on the line. Assessing conditions, we don't know when right now, power may be restored. Also looking at a decent number of outages down into the Leonardtown area. 20650, we're looking at about 70, or sorry, about over 700 customers impacted there. And then kind of that 3D area, or sorry, 7D area on up to the north, here into Maddox and Chaptica, over 800 customers currently without power. So you can see as these storms have moved through, they've knocked out power. When we say we're looking at about 70-mile-an-hour winds, that definitely is not a fallacy for you, as we have a lot moving through. And kind of the core area, we have some pretty nasty weather moving through, would be about Prince Frederick down to St. Leonard, Lesby. We just saw a pretty nasty part of the storm go through Lexington Park, and this would be a nice time to look at those traffic cameras, because I am sure that these would show decently what we got going on. And it's interesting. You can almost see there. You can see here. I mean, it's currently sunny now. Where you have these storms that just blasted through, the sun's coming out. So I guess not all is lost for today, but you know, you get a nice idea. But I mean, our radar would suggest that these should be showing heavy rain right now, but it currently is not, because these have moved through at a pretty decent clip. And I'm not even seeing any of my traffic cameras that might show this potential rain. Let's see, getting some new discussion out of the National Weather Service. Severe threat across the mid-Atlantic continues with damaging straight line. Bada-boo. And actually, as I read this, I will zoom radar out here for you. And I can even give you a nice loop as we go through. Severe threat continues across the mid-Atlantic with damaging straight-line winds in excess of 60 miles per hour and hail around 1 to 1.5 inches expected. These storms will continue to move eastward into the evening and eventually offshore into the Atlantic. Severe thunderstorms are ongoing across the mid-Atlantic that have been responsible for widespread reports of 50 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts and wind damage, along with reports of over 1 to 1.5 inch size hail. These storms are expected to remain severe as they cross the Chesapeake Bay into eastern Maryland and Delaware before eventually moving offshore into the Atlantic. Additionally, an isolated supercell thunderstorm has developed ahead of the line in eastern Maryland. We have some wind profiles from the Dover Air Force Base that show some low-level curvature that would suggest the potential for rotation, while damaging winds and hail are the primary threat. Some tornado potential does exist with some discrete thunderstorms, and I believe the storm that they are mentioning there that could potentially produce a tornado at some point. God, you're gonna see how strong these storms are. I'm thinking it's going to be this cell out here towards Easton. They're definitely, I mean, we're starting to get some embedded pockets of rotation now. This was a region earlier today, the eastern shore of Maryland, that saw a decent bit. They saw several tornado warnings in southern New Jersey, getting down into the Georgetown, Delaware area, down towards Ocean Pines. Thankfully, I mean, radar is pretty lit up right now. We are continuing to see things move to the east. So for those of you right there along the Chesapeake Bay, from the Prince Frederick area headed down towards Calvert Cliffs, Cove Point, Drum Point, the Ranch Club headed down towards Pax River and Park Hall, this should be out of your hair here in about the next, let's call it even 10 to 15 minutes. You just have to get through this bit of hail upwards of 1 to 1.5 inches and wind. Now, some people asking about microbursts and these straight line winds. When we get hail that large, 1 to 1.5 inches, that is typically at least indicative to me that, yeah, you're looking at some of those dangerous wind potentials that can cause widespread damage. You might even think that once you go outside, like, oh my God, it looks like a tornado moved through. But it's not a tornado that moved through. You just saw high-end wind gusts and a damaging wind event with these storms. That's why we now have. That's why we had these severe thunderstorm warnings that have been in effect. So, seeing Bethany saying just had a huge storm here in St. Leonard. Power didn't go up a tree and tree parts fell. Lots of wind. Yeah. I mean, even just like in our small corner here of the world from Annapolis southbound, over 1,600 strikes of lightning. These storms are quite electric, which also indicates a lot of hail. Typically, where we have lots of lightning that can tell us a lot of hail, that can also tell us that we have the potential for rotation in the atmosphere. So this kind of, not that we haven't seen thunderstorms so far this year, but this definitely starts to kick off what we would consider, um, at least in my book, severe weather season. To me, I mean, people talk about March and April for severe weather. We don't really see that around here. We typically start to get into peak severe weather season for us late May, going through the entire summer, and things don't really tend to quiet off until about late August, going into September. Um, I have found this is going to be year 12 of doing this, which is crazy to think about. Like, June makes 12 years. Just in my experience here, this summer tends to be where we look at severe weather. So that will if this we don't know if this is an omen. I tend to favor maybe a cooler summer than the ones we've seen lately, but we'll see. We'll see what's in the cards. All right, let's get back into this. So radar is showing us, and I want to make sure I'm looking at a consistent at a consistent scan here. We really see some of the worst has moved offshore from Annapolis. We're starting to see a lot of this move out across the bay. Chesapeake Beach, North Beach, you're just about out of it. The worst of it is now just pushed off of Randall Cliff Beach on over onto the bay. Willows, you're starting to clear up a bit. Prince Frederick, you can probably see a little bit of sun trying to peek through potentially. Looks like Golden Beach, you're out of this. Sandgate, you're looking good. Lusby, you're just about there. Really, it's just kind of Cove Point, Drum Point. I'm thinking kind of that area there. Those beaches in the Ranch Club along the bay. What is that? Seahorse and Driftwood beaches. That's kind of where you're looking at some of the heavy rain right now. Pax River, the last little bit, moving through, and then Ridge looks like you've kind of made it through it. We're now going to be turning our attention here to the eastern shore with these. We have another destructive severe thunderstorm warning for parts of the mid shore as well. So lots going on. Talk about an active afternoon. We told you we had that elevated risk of severe weather, and sure enough, things have kind of played out here. Kind of more of a boom situation. I thought today may be more of a bust situation given the time of year, since we're so early in severe storm season for our region, but things definitely kind of played out kind of at a high end level. But we're going to go ahead and call this for right now. It's been nice to do one of these again, one of these little live chats. If we have any new warnings that were to pop up, I'll be back here with you. I don't expect any more this evening. We may see additional showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder as we head into tomorrow around sunrise, and then clearing conditions as we head towards midday. But thank you for joining me right now. Have a nice and safe one. I'm Forecaster John Bordash. You can get my forecast across a variety of platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, YouTube, jbweather.net as well. We'll keep you covered. All right, all the things. Have a nice and safe one, and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information.